The fight against fossil fuels has erupted across the globe. This was made apparent last September when 7.6 million people participated in the global climate strike. Here in Madison, about 3,000 people joined the strike, marching from the Madison Gas and Electric plant to the steps of the state capitol. This battle has even been brought to the University of Wisconsin, where student organizations like Campus Leaders for Energy Action Now, or CLEAN, and Wisconsin Student Climate Action Coalition, or WSCAC, have been pressuring the university to transition to 100% renewable energy.
I'm on the executive board of CLEAN, which is Campus Leaders for Energy Action Now, and our org is all about pushing the administration to transition to 100% clean and renewable energy.
UW's current percent of total energy consumption from clean and renewable sources is 1.61%. Every Friday, CLEAN and WSCAC petition across campus, their version of Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future. These student organizations are also pushing UW to divest from fossil fuels. In February, they held a divestment die-in as part of National Divestment Day.
1, 2, 3.
Dying to divest!
Ari Bortman, a junior at the University of Pennsylvania, helped start National Divestment Day.
What we're really trying to make an escalating year of divestment and an escalating image of the campus divestment movement. Really putting divestment in the public eye because it really is such a common sense solution and a powerful solution because institutions of higher education have so much money and power.
Currently, the UW Alumni Foundation has $124,785,961 invested in oil and gas.
The university is profiting off of these fossil fuel industries that are exacerbating the effects of climate change. And often people think about climate change as kind of like this future issue, and the future consequences that future generations and even us in our later lifetime will have to deal with are incomprehensible and will be devastating. But it's also important to realize that people are feeling these consequences right now.
This fossil fuel dependence is transforming the world around us.
Our dependence on fossil fuels has warmed the planet about 1 degree centigrade over the last century or so. And we know from the science that if we don't either get off of fossil fuels or find a way to capture their emissions, we're going to heat the planet even more, and that can lead to a lot of negative impacts around the globe, whether that's rising sea levels, extreme weather events, that sort of thing. So we feel it's important to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels in order to mitigate some of those impacts.
There is no donation on Earth that you can make that makes up for the fact that you are destroying the planet.
The impact of this transforming world has disproportionately displaced many vulnerable communities.
Climate change disproportionately affects a lot of marginalized communities. Communities of color, low-income communities all feel it worse. So I think that's like an integral part of like why we're even doing all of this, is to fight for those who are contributing the least but feeling it the most.
We're working really hard to elevate and center the voices of frontline communities because we're fighting for our futures, but there are people in the world today who are fighting for their lives and their homes today.
We gonna rise up till it's won. People rise up, power come down.
These investments are also beginning to have negative financial impacts.
Betting on companies that are very dependent on fossil fuels, it's just a bad bet right now. Well, let's look at how those companies have performed in the stock market in the last 1, 3, and 5 year period. Turns out they've been disastrous.
While there are some trade-offs that come with investing in renewable energy, these students believe it is worth it.
They need to work with MG&E because MG&E is our major source of energy, so they need to like make a deal with them or something. So like it would be a lot of work, but the frustrating thing for us is that like we know that it's worth it. Like it like they're gonna have to like prioritize it and do work, but people are dying, so like I don't understand how they're not making it a priority.
Some say that using a combination of strategies is the key to making UW's energy use more sustainable.
Let's look at some of these old buildings, or a lot of these old buildings on campus, and how much energy they waste, and let's address that. If we have a pot of money of X million dollars, 1, 5, 10, whatever it is, let's make those buildings tighter, better, because we'll save far more money than putting on a bunch of solar panels or buying a bunch of wind energy that we lose just like we're losing all this other energy?
My opinion would be 100% carbon free. I think there's value in other carbon free technologies, and we don't want to necessarily rule out other non-carbon emitting technologies.
These student activists stress that these changes must happen quickly because we may not have much time.
We see in very tangible terms that time is running out, that leadership is needed now, and that there are people around the world standing up, being disruptive, demanding better from their schools, from their governments, from all of their institutions, and disrupting business as usual, because business as usual is going to make the problem worse.
Rise up till it's won.